Next on Binge with Baldrick.
Hey, do you want to learn how to dress for extreme cold faster than it often takes to get frostbite?
This is Binge with Baldrick, the interesting show for curious minds and hungry hearts. Here now, a guy who's lived his entire life with artificial intelligence, Thomas Baldrick.
Greetings, friends. Much love and gratitude for being here. I am Thomas Baldrick. I woke up this morning. Life is good. I'm Julian Baldrick's dad, and I'm ready to help you with all I just learned in Alaska when it's 30 below. So let's go. Even if you don't need this intel here in winter, I think you'll find the topic interesting. How to dress in extreme cold weather. Alaskans taught me. Getting this right and getting it wrong are polar opposites, pun intended. I'm fresh off a long visit to Alaska during the 8th coldest December on record there. Still, because of the people and the amazing beauty, I loved it and felt like the right thing to do when I got home was pass along some great advice Alaskans gave me. These are really useful tips which can help you manage being in extreme cold, keep you safe, and not let the cold ruin your day. Being from Philly, I thought I knew a little about the cold. In reality, I did. Very little. One winter, I went to the frozen tundra of Green Bay, Wisconsin to visit NFL legend Reggie White. Having only a light blue windbreaker and not a winter coat made for one cold, hard lesson. Years later, I went to northern Maine for Good Morning America because the story was the wind chill was about 60 below zero. Even that short visit further proved how little I knew about real cold. Since then, residing in Arizona's Valley of the Sun hasn't taught me much, unless, of course, you value how to become a weather wimp. My point is this. If the information I'm about to share worked for me in the brutal Alaska winter, maybe there's a chance it can work for you too. But I'm not telling you what to do. That's not my thing. I'm only providing knowledge drops here from the For What It's Worth department at Binge with Baldrick. Personally, I myself felt confident consulting Alaskans about how to dress in the extreme cold of their winter season. You should consult a medical professional if you need clarity and assurance. A unique agenda led me to Alaska in winter, a 2-for-1 bucket list special. Since I was a little boy, I wanted to get to all 50 United States. Alaska was my 50th. I also craved witnessing the aurora borealis. When I was a kid, it was just the northern lights and wasn't a big deal. Dark and cold, 'tis the season in Alaska for the best opportunity to see the northern lights dancing over the last frontier. So I went. For my trip, I geeked out on the aurora. Too much, in fact. But if you're also into it, I'll mention be sure to subscribe to Binge with Baldrick because there is an upcoming episode featuring great aurora chasers. Anyway, I timed my Alaska adventure for a new moon, the darkest time in the skies. But leading up to the trip, I made things more difficult by looking in the wrong direction. Forget Houston, we have a problem. For me, it was Fairbanks, I have a problem. Sure, I checked the weather. At the start of December, it was around 20 degrees. Mind over matter, I thought. I've been in that kind of cold countless times. So instead of the weather, I locked in on the excitement I felt from the aurora forecast. Every day, multiple times a day, I checked what the University of Alaska Geophysical Institute was predicting for the ever-changing conditions in witnessing the aurora. I was already mesmerized by the hope of being mesmerized by finally seeing it. Then days before my flight on December 11th, Alaskans began warning me the temperatures had dropped suddenly and drastically. The daily highs for my visit were going to be in the area of 20 to 40 degrees below zero. The lows would be in the 30 to 40 below zero range. We're talking temperatures only, not counting wind chill. What the Fahrenheit? I had to scramble for last-minute solutions. I talked with Alaskans, did research, and shopped online for way better clothing options than I had. There are many kind and experienced Alaskans. They will all tell you the same three things about how to dress for winter. Layers, layers, layers. I'd worn multiple layers plenty of times in winter, but I still got cold. And those conditions that I was in were nowhere near Alaska's. So I was thinking there had to be more to this layers concept. There was, and there is much more. Thank goodness I found the right people and asked the right questions. It led to some true aha moments for me and hopefully for you as well. So let's get after it now from head to toe. First and foremost, when you head into the cold, make sure yours is on straight. Use your head. If you think you are going to suffer in the cold, you're right. If you think you will manage the cold and be able to make the best of it, you're also right. Choose wisely, my friends. What I decided was to prepare myself mentally for situations that I might expect in Alaska and also what I could or would feel in those situations. So, when some of them did happen, they were more like familiar adventures instead of stressful or scary moments. Keep in mind, panic or extreme fear are big-time enemies in extreme cold and decision-making. Mentally, I also relied on laughter. Once I was out of the direct cold and wind, I would laugh at myself for making this Alaska adventure voluntarily. If you are heading to Alaska or somewhere like it, think only about dressing for the cold, not at all about fashion. During winter in Alaska, you can go anywhere wearing anything warm. However, if you do insist on making a fashion statement, I'll throw you this. The clothing brand I noticed most was the North Face, followed by Columbia. Let's move to the head physically. I did some exploring which led to surprising but helpful myth-busting. It turns out the ironclad information from that old U.S. Army survival manual was wrong. No. In the cold, you do not lose 40 or 50% of your body heat through your head. Not even close. However, the facts didn't stop the message from making it around the world. Grandmom and Mom didn't know any better when they planted that same information deeply into your head. Unfortunately, the new, more accurate data is getting around the world with the speed of a turtle or a sloth. So I will do my part here. A 2008 study in the British Journal of Medicine proved the amount of body heat lost through an exposed head of adults is more like 10%, not 40 or 50%. This is aligned more proportionately with your overall total body area. Think of it this way. When exposed to cold, body heat leaves the area of your head just as if it were the same area exposed because you were wearing shorts or a t-shirt. Not way faster. I'm here to spread the word. Remember this and pass it on, will you? Alaskans told me and showed me everyone wears hats when outside in winter. Going indoors, you can either do like the Joe Cocker song and leave your hat on, or you can remove it and showcase hat hair or hat head. The only etiquette in Alaska winter is this. No one cares. No one cares. We're all on the same team against the cold. For me, I wore a hat all day and all night long, except for in the shower. It was delicious, both physically and emotionally. My head was not cold in Alaska. I have to think some of that was because I didn't worry about losing tons of body heat through my head. My two hat options in Alaska were both warm and comfortable. This meant I always had an all-important backup in case one of the hats got wet. I had this great blue fleece hat, and I had this goofy but equally trusty Perry the Platypus hat. It is swag from the Disney series Phineas and Ferb, which my son and I enjoyed watching when he was little. Let me say this carefully. Phineas had a pet platypus named Perry. For the record, I have never seen anyone else, man or child, wearing this hat. Yeah, I know, for good reason, right? Sure, some people looked at me with curiosity and smiles. All good. Besides, I often had the first and last laugh. Many Alaskans also wear hoodies or jackets with hoods. This provides added protection for not only the head, but also the throat and neck areas. When wind and direct exposure hit those spots, it feels like it runs down your entire body, doesn't it? Many Alaskan women and men do wear scarves. This gives them warmth and perhaps some free fashion points. Personally, I never liked scarves or turtlenecks. They felt irritating around my throat. I was always tugging at them. So for the first time in my life, I covered my neck and throat by wearing a fleece gaiter. Not only did this do the job in keeping me warm, but it was also soft and comfortable. This was one of my best new buddies. I didn't wear any mask covering my face. I know, probably much to the dismay of the people I encountered. Now, we'll touch on the torso. Here we'll get into the important system of wearing layers. Understand this. Success in the cold is not guaranteed simply by wearing multiple layers. It matters greatly what those layers are. Got it? For the base layer touching your skin, I developed a short code. Think W for warm, W for wicking and wool materials to help you stay warm. Think C for cold. Think wearing cotton will help you for feeling cold. I'll admit the human body sweating in extreme cold was one of those aha moments for me. I never really gave it as much thought as I should have, but we do often sweat in the cold. Overdressing or improper dressing can cause you to sweat. Other causes can be stress or anxiety, like I alluded to earlier, antidepressants, low blood sugar, hormonal issues such as thyroid issues or menopause, and various illnesses can also lead you to sweat. Now, if the base layer against your skin is cotton, I'll repeat, that is no good. Cotton will trap the moisture, trap the sweat, keeping it against your skin. Then, as the moisture evaporates, you actually add more chill directly to your body. That's the last thing you want, right? Consider merino wool or another material that wicks away sweat from your body, such as polyester or polypropylene. If a clothing material is good for wicking purposes, the label will surely brag about it. Next is your layer for insulation. The goal here is keeping in heat and preventing your body from losing heat. The recommended materials are fleece, perhaps another layer of wool, or a form of down. Commonly, this could mean a sweater, hoodie, a light jacket, or a puffy down jacket. The next layer is your outer shell, what's on top or what's on the outside. This layer is for protection from the elements, such as wind, snow, and ice. The more waterproof and windproof, the better. Ultimately, you might want to think of a fabric like Gore-Tex with a hood and other adjustable options. Here's how I dressed in Alaska. Every day, I wore wicking thermal underwear as a base, something like this. Next, for more insulation, usually lined athletic pants. I wanted to be comfortable. I didn't wear jeans. On top, I wore snow or ski pants when I was out in the cold. Some days, my insulation layer included a fleece jacket. Other days, a wool sweater or a polyester cotton blend hoodie. On the outside, from experience, I trust down jackets to help keep me warm. Sometimes I wore a short down jacket. But if I was outside for a while when it was well below zero, I wore a second, longer down jacket on top of the first one. Worked like a champ, even throughout my first full day in Fairbanks when it snowed 10 to 12 inches and I was eagerly out and about all over the place all day long. Which leads me to yet another aha moment for me, size. Prior to Alaskans enlightening me, I always wore winter clothes in my usual size. there is a better way. Think outside the closet on this one. Wear something bigger than normal. Yes, it may mean buying extra things, but is your warmth and comfort and safety worth it? Sounds odd, but loose-fitting layers help to trap body heat, which helps keep you warm and dry. Plus, layers of your normal size can create unwanted tightness and restriction, which hurts circulation and blood flow. Loose and larger clothing also provides you more freedom of movement. More on that in a moment. The extremities. You probably know this. Hands and feet are often the first weak links in extreme cold. Alaskans taught me you can be successful keeping your hands and feet warm with layering. Use a thin, loose-fitting layer as your base. You definitely want a wicking material for any sweating. Then, on the outside, something insulated and waterproof. Again, not cotton. For hands, ultimately, mittens are deemed better than gloves. Tightness for your fingers is never a good thing, so a mitten or glove size larger than your normal is again the way to go. Also, these little heat packs work great. They actually work much better than when I used them in the past. The key that I learned from Alaskans is you take these heat packs out of the plastic packaging well in advance of the time you need them. They need air, oxygen for the best results. Maybe do this 20 or 30 minutes before you're actually going to use them. Another secret I learned is you can reuse these handy little tools by wrapping them again in plastic as airtight as possible. I did have some awesome battery-powered gloves, which were too big for me. Perfect. They provided instant heat. They were yummy. The problem is I couldn't really do anything in them but stay warm. And again, I was in Alaska shooting video and photos everywhere. Basically, I spent much of my Alaska adventures barehanded, working as quickly and efficiently as I could in the cold. Your feet. The best strategy for your hands also applies to your feet. Remember my C for cotton, C for cold. Think W for wool or wicking materials, W for warmth. Nothing tight, bigger is better. Alaskans taught me your feet can stay warm with thin wicking socks as a base layer, then a thicker pair of wool socks over them. The heat packs for toes, they also help greatly. As for shoes, there is snow and ice a lot of places in Alaska throughout the winter. Insulated and waterproof shoes or boots are the way to go. Having traction on the soles is basically a necessity. As for me, I enjoyed happy feet. Oh, my feet were happy. Truth be told, I wore Uggs for the first time in my life. Oh my goodness, was it true love. I got a pair of them a size or maybe 2 sizes larger than my usual shoes. I wore a thick pair of wool socks, often with a thin wicking layer pair of socks underneath. I wore Uggs in Alaska all day, every day. And I should add, I wore them being out all night, most every night, chasing my next aurora sighting. In closing, here's 2 more polar opposites. You can bail on this podcast, but why would you? Your other choice is to subscribe to Binge with Baldrick. Until next time, Godspeed, my friends. And oh, how I wish you could have been there. A frozen fly on the windshield, if you will. There I was, all alone, 3 o'clock in the morning, outside the Fairbanks, Alaska airport. I pulled over because I saw a sign that showed it was 32 degrees below zero. It would have been epic to see me preparing for every split second of being a knucklehead standing in that cold, wearing a Philadelphia Eagles hat and t-shirt, holding a sign that read, "Go Birds."